heading out early this morning. It's 5:30. We'll be in the water here shortly. Johnny's been going out early and so doing pretty good for 2 hours. We're coming off of some really high temperature water for this river, which means not really that warm for most rivers. But still, when you get a push of water to get up into that 64 or 5 degree mark, the fish get a little lethargic and they become particularly nocturnal feeders then, because they have to go to their food. And that's a good thing to understand about particular brown trout, but rainbows, all trout really. They go to their food at night. Their big fish are predominantly nocturnal feeders. It's really rare to get a big fish, a fish over 22, 3, 4, to come out and play in the daytime. But they go to their food at night, usually about an hour before dusk. They go on a move. They go to specific styles of water to feed, and it's completely different than the holding water you see in the daytime, where you fish for fish in the daytime. It's kind of marginal water. They go where a lot of juvenile fish are, and so they'll set up on those areas until even a little after daylight, and they'll start moving back to where they like to rest. And that doesn't have to be a giant, mile of water. It can be, in some rivers, they can just cross the river. They can just simply go to the other side of the bank into the different kind of water. But basically, if they're not successful getting anything all night, it's an absolute money time to get fish in the morning, because if they're not, they're really on the look and on their travel back to their resting area. So you get a little bit better shot. If they're successful, they got a 12-inch rainbow in their stomach, probably not as good a shot, but they're still very likely, if you get the right fly in front of them, they'll still take a bite out of crime. They'll still attack those things, because they feed with as much, they put as much in their guts as they can, because they don't want to have to do this every day. They just want to rest. So this is your best shot. You're going to get 2 hours of good morning light. We probably won't fish more than maybe 2.5 hours, but we're going to hit that optimum time when they're moving back to their resting areas, and we'll still get some set up for this first, we still can't see right now, but as soon as we get the boat in, we'll be running some water that's, and again, it's you got to know the water a little bit, but you're not looking for those traditional holding spots like you'd nymph. You're looking for movement areas or shallow stuff, so we're going to be running a lot of shallow riffles. I'm going to be running a sinking lines. I'm going to be running like a 3, not a really fast sinking line, because we're going to be hitting a lot of stuff that's going to be pretty skinny. So hopefully we can hang a hog here this morning and get done with it in about 2 hours, and see if we can get a big old brown trout. Just to get the feel of things, I like to start with a white fly, just because I can see it, kind of see normally I can see it, I can't see a thing right now. Hello, Mr. Moose.
Hello.
This is Moose.
I'll row you through this left and then go back up through the slick, get it back over to the right.
This middle is usually,
Yeah?
I don't know.
Bumper?
I might have hit a rock. It's really skinny in there. This whole thing's skinny. Oh, that's a good feel.
Good one?
I like it. He hit it on the run though, so he clobbered it. He wasn't a giant. Just a wiggler. Mr. Wiggler. coming into 6 inches of water and it's plunging and gonna shove you under this tree. Oh God, that was the best eat in the history of not an eat. Use a kill whitey.
Big or mini?
Huh?
Big or mini?
Mini.
I like that.
Have you used one?
Have I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I fish that kill whitey a ton. I really like that bug. The black one's been good to me. As has, I haven't fished the white as much. I fished the yellow a lot.
We got a lot of fish off of this one. I can't get a hold of him. Oh, he was like running after me. That hurt.
No net?
No, it's in the back of the truck again. He gone.
All right,
Man.
white.
I cracked that cup so hard with my hand.
This felt really good.
It felt really good.
Good one? Looked like it could have been.
Yes. I don't know, my hand opened up. When I hit that cup, I let the line go, and I just squeezed as hard as I could, trying to get back a hold of it. It's the first cast with a semi-decent spot with white. Man, that hurt. It was this hand that hit. When I set that, and it went right to my finger. It's an ouchy moment. Little feller.
Found something.
Little guy. Oh.
He's trying to get big, huh?
Keeps eating like that, he'll get somewhere. He'll get there sooner or later. Just wanted to stop and do a little breakdown on some water here. Braden likes this channel. Usually it's got more water in it normally than it does right now, but I just wanted to kind of a tip when you're running this kind of water, just if you look at it before you run up it, a couple things should be pretty obvious. First and foremost, there's a lot of descent to the water above. It's dropping down a hill. When you can see water that's dropping downhill, it's very obvious, that's a really low percentage. When you look above me, it's a really low percentage holding zone because it's dropping down, and when the water's going downhill, it's pushing on top of the fish's head. And they don't like to sit in that. They would like to get where it's flat. So this water comes down that little tiny chute and it flattens out from about right there to right there. A really short 10-foot window. And so if you come in this, you see a lot of people, they just start hucking them across the thing. They just go across and just rip back through it. And it's got two other really distinct features, and that's on each side, the chute's going right down the middle of this channel. Each side's got a nice little flat, soft spot where it would hold for fish. But it's so tiny that we were talking earlier, Braden and I were, about how you'd go after this. Because it's such a tiny chute, which is this is the size of a lot of river people fish, I would take the sweet spot first. I would go I'd go for the money right here, because when you see water comes down and you can see that the waves are coming, and all of a sudden they just seem to flatten out. And you'll see that in big water frequently, and where there's a lot of descent to the water, and they'll be right in the middle someplace. There'll be this just flatter, like it comes down and it just seems to flatten out for a really short period, like 10 feet. And that's super holding water for big fish. They get to be away from everything, and they get to come, they aren't gonna come down through that chute or hang out in it. This is a perfect spot to just relax right here. So normally I would fish like as much as I could before I walk into it. But on this particular spot, I'm gonna go for there's only a short 10-foot sweet spot here, so I'm gonna go for it first. Whereas, you know, sometimes I'll start at the very bottom and work my way up, or come from the top down. This one's just such a, it's that I've talked about it before. They're flat spots in big water where the bottom, and that's really what you're thinking about. You're seeing the water, but you're not fishing. You're fishing the bottom, but you're looking at the surface of the water. And the bottom, what's gonna tell you if your fish is there or not, and it's gotta be flattened out so that it doesn't have to work to stay in the water. This thing is really skinny right now. I have a very low hope that there's anything sitting in it. It's probably down 6 to 10 inches from normal. So all I did was work that 10 feet to see if there's a player sitting there. And then as I walk through it, as I walk up here, if I don't leave a shoe in this mud, as I walk up, I'm gonna hit these insides first, and I'm gonna do pretty short casts and short retrieves. Walking is how generally on foot, I'm walking upstream and fishing anyway. And so I'm gonna fish all these insides first. And once I know I've covered these insides, because I don't want to shoot like the other side looks better, but it's partly because it's shadowed. But I don't want to just come in here and shoot straight across the river with my big hook cast over there first, because if anything's laid up in here, you're going to put it down, just like if you were fishing a dry fly. And so I hit this inside right here, but if you look over there, you can see there's some some foam right there, nice and soft stuff. I can get there. You got a cut bank coming underneath there, which could easily hold fish. But I just kind of dissect it as I go. And I've kind of preached about that a long time, not to do that. But that's when, like you'll see, you'll be in here and there's one out there and you just go racing right to that sweet spot. If it's at the bottom end like this, you're not putting anything down, that's a pretty safe bet, go for it. But if it happens to be in the middle and you race right up here, you blow all this on the way up. So I just break them down. I take the best opportunity I've got to hit all the water as efficiently as I can without putting down enough fish. And then I simply walk and fish the inside first. I have very low hopes that anything would ride in the middle of this current. Even as skinny as it is, it's not that pushy, but it's got that downhill thing. When you look up this, you can see the descent. You can see the drop in that water. And you can see it start to, right here, right in front of me, it starts to flatten out. And then you can see it right here. It's a pretty simple read. I mean, that water's 8 inches deep right now out there, but you can see it flatten out. And you can see that usually in a boat you miss it because you're kind of with it, you know, going down the river. You don't see it, but on foot, you can look up there and see how it's going downhill for a reason.
I'm about to say that would have been a really cool place for a fish. Be a really cool place for a fish slightly bigger than that. What are we going to?
Cougar.
Cougar.
I've always got, this one's kind of a catch-22 because it's an outside push, but I've caught a lot of fish on that outside.
Right.
But I've caught
You want to be tighter to it?
more fish right in here.
Yeah, kind of the boat line is where I...
Oh, he ate it. He liked it.
I'm not sure that's a fish.
Oh, it's not anymore.
That's a good one.
He was a good one. A cougar eater.
Brown trout, huh?
Brown trout. If that was a dumb lake fish, I'd be putting off that point. Oh, wow.
Yeah?
Hey, you see that thing?
No, I didn't.
Jerked the rod out of my...
I was looking way right.
Ay, 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 did he clobber it? Particularly good in the fall in that color.
You heard anything about the stone recently?
Mm-mm.
I was thinking about going over there Sunday with Chuckles.
Chuckles?
Chuckles, Slovakia.
He liked it. Feels like a good one. Not as big as he felt, but good for a second.
Big rainbow, huh?
The rainbow. He whopped it like he was somebody. Oh, push me out of the boat. He's a good one. Boy, what I'd do for a net right now, huh? Swim up here, buddy. Come here. Come here. We need to take your pictures. All we need to do for you. Come here. I'm trying to be nice to you. Nice. How pretty is that in the morning? Backside of that flat.
Nice.
He's pretty. Well, we've fished for an hour and a half. We've had 2 or 3 fish go, mostly on cougars. White, kill whitey and zoo cougars, but nothing's really, it's not really tearing it up. So switch to, when in doubt, you put on a barely legal, kind of a, this is just a nothing fly, green and white. Great little bait fish pattern. That fish was set up where we've hit 25 of those runs this morning at the tail out, everything right where they're back where they should be in the flats. They're just ate, you know. I don't know why, but it's been kind of slow so far, but we've got that one. We had one other really nice fish on. It's a big brown, and he was kind of he wasn't where he belonged. So I don't know if they're just set up different this morning or if it's with the sun they've moved already. I'm not sure what's happening, but we just switched over to that barely legal because this is one of those, my buddy down in the white calls it the guide savior. It's just a 2-tone fly, and it's, you know, we went through a pile. We've got quite a gut pile right here of flies that we've switched through, and we had some consistency on white to start, and then that kind of went off, and then the yellow zoo cougar went off pretty good for a little bit, but it's just kind of lulls, 25 minutes, 20 minutes between them, and so on goes the barely legal, and we'll see what happens. That was about its 3rd cast, so you never know about that. You know, just when you think that's it could be a dumb fish, right? So we'll see what happens. We got another 20 minutes or so. We'll see if we can pop another one in the head. Well, we blew through that really quick. We decided this morning that we wanted to just hit these flats, so we kind of had a game plan to roll through. We probably fished an hour, a little over an hour and a half, maybe not quite 2. we had a few eats. We just kind of stuck to our plan. I think we had 3 decent fish. We landed the one. I was running my 6-weight Echo, which, I didn't mention that. Most people think we run heavier rods, and in this skinny water in particular, I was hoping to throw smaller flies today, which actually the cougar was probably, other than that big rainbow that ate the barely legal, the cougar was kind of that and Johnny's kill whitey, that little kill whitey. But it was marginal. We kind of had that idea because it's really skinny. We were bumping bottom constantly, so I brought a 10-foot tip, Cortland's 10-foot type 6, which is a heavy sinking line. Type 6 about as fast as it goes, but it's so short that it didn't matter. I'm running this, 10 inches, 20 inches of water. I'm never hooking up at all. So it was pretty fun. We just kind of hauled through it as fast as we could, hit the premium spots because the water's so skinny. As you can see, it's Braden will pan out here. We're probably, most of this lower water in particular is under 15 inches deep right now. So we hit the hot spots, got one to do what it was supposed to. We lost a couple decent ones. No, we didn't get any giants today at all, but it was a blast. Like I said, we only killed an hour and a half. Now we're gonna go back and shoot in the studio. So stay tuned.